beautiful fall morning. So here we are in November. How in the heck did it get to be November? Just tell me, how did it get to be November? Did any of you start out the year thinking in November, when there's 1 month left in the year, my life is going to look like it does today? Anybody? How many of you are amazed, just in awe at what you've accomplished this year? And how many of you are like, dang, what I decided I was going to do in January is nothing like I see happening today? So here's what I've noticed. Usually it's either the pain of discipline or it's the pain of regret. But a lot of times there's been discipline, you've been working, you've been doing all the right things, but sometimes it's some unforeseen circumstances that come to play. And you're like, how in the world did this get to be my life, right? So today, I want to give you a few hints. I'm going to keep this super short, and I'm going to help you design your best year ever for 2025. But it begins today, guys. It begins today. So what you do in November and December is going to be the springboard for what you're going to have in January, February, March. And so many people are just getting ready to get ready. They're waiting. Now this week, they're waiting on the election. And then after that, they'll be waiting to see if it was fair or not. And then the next week, they'll be bickering and fighting. It won't matter what happens. I'm telling you guys, insanity is to continue to do the same thing and to expect a different result. And I see so many people do the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month, and then year after year. But then they're angry, mad, sad, disappointed, resentful, afraid, they worry. Let's just put a stop to that, right? Let's just put a stop to that. I want you to grab a notebook and I want you to just sit with me, get your cup of coffee. You guys want to see my cup? 'Tis the season. Oh yes, on Halloween night, I literally had my niece and my help bringing down every tree in the attic. And on Halloween night, while you all were dressing up and doing trick-or-treating with your children and handing out candy. No one comes out here because we're so far out in the country. Never had a trick-or-treater in 22 years. But it is the time of year where I love to be absolutely full of joy, all happiness, all optimism. I can't wait for the new year. Now, I want you guys to be honest with me right now. How many of you are full of joy, always merry, always happy, optimistic, can't wait for the new year? And then be honest, how many of you are worried, scared, anxious, stressed, dreadful, not looking forward to it, can't sleep? Drop in the comments. Are you full of joy, always merry, happy, optimistic, or are you worrying, scared? And some of you are just afraid to comment. So if you don't want to be honest, just say no comment, right? It's your business. It's nobody else's business. But I want to help you. What I do every single day is I program this to get that. So what comes in must come out. And if you really want to know what's in, watch someone when they're under pressure. Because when people are under pressure, how they react is what you really want to watch, right? So here's a thing that I will tell you guys, just Barb's little secret that she has learned in 54 years. When you see people and the way that they make you feel, when you see people and the way that they treat others, just get ready, your dose is coming. So likes attract likes, right? Your energy is going to match other energy. I run from people that are hateful, divided, not kind, mean, judgmental, angry, posting all the pessimism. Just, I run from that. And I want to tell you guys why. The minute that you let a little bit in, it will take over the entire room. Pretty soon it will take over the entire house. Pretty soon it will take over the entire community. Next thing you know, it takes over the city, the state, the country. Just my opinion. But the problem when you're not winning, the problem when you're worrying, the problem when you're struggling, the problem when you're not growing is there's two kinds of people. There's people who are building an empire, and there's people who are tearing one down. And it starts with the power of the tongue and the power of your thoughts. So your worry, and you're stating what you're worried about, discussing it with everyone around you, creates an energy that brings you exactly what you talk about. What you think about, you bring about. What you speak about, you plant the seed, you get more and more and more and more and more. So everyone in my family knows I love books. This week, I reread this one because, boy, I needed it. The Thinking Cure by Dave Pitcock. Best little read. You can read it in an afternoon. I live by this. But the reality is, if you're not doing this on a daily basis, if you're not defining your dreams and goals, getting a burning desire for their achievement, then the opposite of that is you're complacent. Write this down. Nobody coasts up a hill. You get complacent. There's always going to be attrition. There's always going to be a backslide. There's always going to be things you don't plan for. And what happens is you get to the end of your deadline or your week or your month or your year, and you go, wow, I never saw this coming, because you didn't plan for abundance. You didn't plan for receiving. You didn't plan for positive deposits. You didn't plan for all the blessings. You didn't plan for the aha moment where you go, this is exactly what I always dreamed of. Instead, you get, this is exactly what I knew would happen. It always happens. And here's the next book I want to tell you guys about. Dave bought me this at Hobby Lobby, if you will, while he was buying me a brand new Christmas tree, because every year the stupid lights don't work. How many of you notice you can buy a brand new tree, but the next year the lights don't work? In my opinion, it's kind of like the new phone that comes out and then the charger doesn't work. I think they do it just to get you to go buy a new one. But anyway, sent Dave to Hobby Lobby. He was actually just going for jute rope, but ended up coming home with this book and other things. But I started reading it, and it really inspired me for today. And I say this all the time, but this is good. Listen. In less time than it takes to snap your fingers, everybody say snap. In less time that it takes to snap your fingers, if you're not careful, the enemy will pull up a seat at your table. And it's the table that your shepherd has prepared for you, but the enemy takes over the table in less time than it takes to snap. You got to take back your freedom. You got to quit your worry, and you got to take back your freedom and say, this is my table. And if you want to have a seat at the table, this is the way we talk at the table, right? So we've come to accept that an enemy sitting at the table is normal. This is the new habit people have. It's a big problem. We give him permission anytime we say something. We give him permission anytime we even sit in the middle of gossip, and we don't stop it. We give him permission when we say, oh, it's okay if she does that. I mean, we can't control her. Nope, we can't control her. Can't control what anyone, him or her, does. But here's the thing. You do control what happens in your environment, and you do have to take control of your table. So in the same way that we allow the enemy to pull up, we're all anxious. There's nothing we can do about it. We're all worried. There's nothing we can do about it. Just scroll through your news feed. Heaven forbid your husband turns on the TV, or your wife. You don't plan to let him have a seat at the table. It just happens, right? So then the next thing you know, the seed is planted. Maybe we shouldn't buy a new home. Maybe we shouldn't go look at a new car. Maybe we shouldn't plan that vacation. Maybe we should just save. I mean, after all, this is worse than the years of the Great Depression. This is the worst economy we've all ever been in. Things are more expensive than they've ever been in our life. So maybe we should just play it safe. Or on the flip side, we don't let the enemy have a seat at the table. We do believe that our Creator wants us to do and be and have abundance, all the blessings. We can attract more. We can make more. We can go and experience more. We can love more. We can give more. We can set bigger dreams and goals than we've ever imagined. And they can all come to us because that's what He says. Like, it's a promise. For I know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, but to give you hope, big word, and a future. It doesn't say to give you worry, anxiety, stress, and take away everything that you ever dreamed of. That's not what it says. So let's flip the script. Let's quit worrying and let's start living. Let's quit worrying and let's take massive and immediate action, co-creating the life of our dreams. So there's more and more and more. You can have, here's what the enemy wants you to think. You're scrolling, and then he says, it's okay if you post that. It might get you more followers. The enemy says, oh, it's okay if you wear that. You are married. Everybody knows that, you're not available. You think about it, you guys, our world is so driven by likes and followers and smut and division and hate and anger. And you don't have to believe like I believe. I know everybody says I'm a prude. I'm way too conservative. I should have been born 100 years ago. I'm just protecting my own peace because I know the laws of the universe, guys. And here's what I know. Everybody wanting to follow what they think is going to quench their thirst. I'll make more money. I'll get more things. I'll buy the house. I'll drive the new car. I'll put it on a credit card. All of us struggle feeling less than. And so we think if we get more likes, we get more followers, we get more money, we get more success. Oh my goodness, if I just accomplish this, I'll feel happier. Maybe I'm old, maybe I'm old-fashioned. But here's the reality. When the enemy's at the table, he's going to tell you all these things that need to happen for you to truly have peace, happiness, and joy. But what I have experienced, as long as you're expecting other people to do what you want to make you happy, I don't care if it's an election, people at your church, your preacher, your kids, your grandkids, your parents, I don't care what it is. As long as you're expecting other people to do what you want them to do for you to be happy, you're always going to be disappointed because your expectations create disappointment because you're expecting you out of other people. And that is never going to happen. So just like that, that's what it says in a snap, just like that. When you don't let the enemy sit at your table and he doesn't have a say in your future, you say, I'm taking control of my future. I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to do what I know fills my cup. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to respect myself. I'm going to set a higher standard at the table. Some of you are so desperate for someone to love you, like you, say yes, follow you, that you'll do anything to get that to happen. Some of you think if you had enough followers and if you had enough people loving you, if you had enough TikTok views, that would be it. But here's what I have noticed. Whether it's, let's say, Robin Williams, whether it's Whitney Houston, whether it's Michael Jackson, whether it's all the stars that are in the news right now, and I don't watch the news, but you can't even go on Facebook without seeing it. Sometimes what glitters is not gold, right? So I want to ask you a really important question. If you could have anything that you wanted that you believe would give you peace, if this happened, I would be so full of peace. If this happened, I would be so happy. If I could do this and I knew I wouldn't fail, I would go do it tomorrow. The reason why most people don't is because they don't even know what they want. This is why you worry. This is why you're pessimistic. This is why you're stressed. This is why you're anxious. You're living your life for the love and acceptance of everyone around you. You're living your life to make them happy. You're living your life to keep up with them. You're living your life based on, if I didn't do this, these people would be disappointed. Let's draw a line in the sand. Who are you? What is your name? You know your name, right? Here's my next question. What is your number? What is the number that you have to pay off the debt, to not worry about money, to be with the people that you love, to do what you want, whenever you want, have the time, have the money to do it? What would it take? And some people are like, oh, it would take $15,000 a month. But the reality is, if they didn't have all the debt, if they didn't have all the things they thought would make them happy that aren't making them happy, if they didn't have the credit cards, if they didn't lease the car, if they didn't do all the things that are keeping them so low, they would actually have peace of mind, be happier, worry less, live longer, have more freedom, not be up all night worrying, and life would be a lot different. So in 2025, if we're going to kick off 2025 and you're going to get everything that you desire, first of all, you got to have a plan. How many of you don't even have a calendar? Maybe you don't even have a daily planner. Maybe you don't even write down what has to happen today, what didn't get done today, what you're delegating today, what you're waiting on people to decide what you can do, what you're pushing to tomorrow. Like, I literally have so many lists that I wake up at 4 a.m. just so I can look at my list before anyone else gets up and puts something new on my list, right? I wake up early, and it's the last thing I do when I go to bed, because I know what I want. I'm going to get it. There is no enemies sitting at the table. I will co-create what I do desire, and I will have peace. So you need to say today, I'm going to stop worrying. I will write down exactly what I want. I will get what I want in 2025, and I will have peace. I will have peace of mind. I will have joy in my heart. I will sleep well. I will rest. I will not stress. I will not be anxious. I will not have fear. What would it take for you to not be anxious, not worry, be able to sleep at night, and not have fear? Whatever that is, write that down in bold. Write it on your paper right now. And then I want you to put a huge X through it. If it's debt, we're going to get rid of the debt. If it's your children, or if it's your spouse or whatever, I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning. If your happiness depends on other people doing what you want, you're never going to be happy. If your happiness depends on getting the people you work with to do what you want, you're never going to be happy. So the only way that you can truly have happiness is you decide what you want and you be the example. Hopefully they will all come along. If they don't have a seat for that at the table. You don't have to hang out. I mean, I know the holidays are coming up, but you can also love people from a distance. You can just limit the time that you spend with certain people. You've got to protect your own peace, and you have to set some boundaries. And the first boundary starts at the table. Now, where is the table? It's right here. A seat at the table means anyone who drains you, anyone who takes all your energy, anyone who creates doubt in your mind, anyone who, when you're scrolling on Facebook and you even see their name, you feel drained energy. I'll show you a really quick fix for that. Just go unfollow and mute. They won't even know. Unfollow and mute. Here's one of the things that I have noticed. Worry is created by false evidence appearing real. Sometimes what we think is real is actually not real. And I see it all the time, especially in my industry. People exploit things, say their income, say their record-breaking results. They might even say things about other people or things about other companies. Here's the reality. You've got to take everything you see on Facebook, divide it by 10, and know that about 1% of what you're seeing is actually real. There's AI, there's filters, there's people who are just posting negative things just to get reactions. People in this day and age, I'm amazed, they will do anything they can to get followers, likes, and people to buy. So I was listening to Tony Robbins this morning. Oh, here's another great book. If you're going through some stuff, Damaged but Not Destroyed, brand new book by Pastor Todd. I met him in the Tulsa airport this year. Amazing guy. We were headed to look at Callie's wedding venue, and I met him there in the lobby, and I was absolutely blown away. And the crazy thing was, I said to him, hey, do you want to preach a wedding next year? And he goes, what day? And I was like, gave him the date. And he said, today? And I said, no, next year. And he said, oh, I'll have to check and see. The next day I saw on his Instagram story, he has the exact anniversary that Callie picked for the following year. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that it was a coincidence that I ran into Pastor Todd, sat next to him, asked him if he wanted to come to a wedding, and he laughed and had the same exact anniversary? Do you think that that was a coincidence? There's no way that was a coincidence. I attract and match the same energy. So are you working on your energy that you're, as Marina said this week, are you a fountain or are you a drain? Marina sent me an amazing book. Yeah, I have 4 books going right now. I really, really do. It's amazing. This one. Oh my gosh. Unlocking the Quantum Woman. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you're in misery right now, you don't like where you're at, you're struggling with something that you just can't seem to break through, but you know, on the outside, it all looks good, but maybe underneath you're paddling like a duck, or maybe you feel stuck because you have so much success, because you have this identity, because you have this title, because of whatever you've done for so long. It was crazy because when I was reading this book, I am not in that situation right now, but I was in 2017. So I look back to that date in 2017 when it looked like I was just setting the world on fire on the cover of Success magazine. 1.2 million in earnings already that year. I was looking at my 1099 and I was looking at my identity. I was looking at my title. I was looking at how many years I had sewn into this situation. And the reality was, Dave and I couldn't even sleep at night. We were like, how in the world did we end up in business in this situation with these people? Like, we were literally looking at each other like, what would we do, right? Well, I'm going to tell you guys something. It doesn't matter what you walk away from. What is meant for you will find you. What is your purpose? What is your passion? What is meant for you will find you. Nothing will stop you from God's destiny in your life except for worry, fear, and the enemy seated at the table. Now, I'm not saying it would be easy. It could literally be the hardest thing you ever do in your life, but I'm going to tell you what I have learned. Worrying, feeling like I'm not in alignment, staying stuck, putting up with narcissism or abuse or people that don't value you, or being in a career that you hate, or maybe you are stuck in a relationship where you're like, I don't know how I could ever get out of this relationship. You're not stuck anywhere. When you are feeling those low vibrational feelings, you're not in alignment. Have any of you ever driven a farm truck and it's not in alignment? I mean, we have this big old red truck. We've had it since 2005, and it's a farm truck. But it is so hard to steer when it needs power steering. It is so hard to steer when the wheels are out of alignment. It will literally pull you into the ditch. Like, it takes all your strength just to keep it on the road. And this is how a lot of people feel every day of their life, because what they're doing is not in alignment with what they love. So that same 4 or 5 years where I was very out of alignment, I thought I wanted to be an author. So I wrote a book. I had this publisher publish the book. It was in between Barack Obama and Sarah Palin in every airport. It was on the top 10 airport list. I was going to 12 airports in 20 days in traveling in between. I would see, like, if you go to Atlanta, there's like 30 bookstores. And so I would spend an hour in every bookstore, 2 or 3 days in a row, signing books, taking pictures. And it was like I had arrived, right? If you go look at Barb Pitcock author speaker page, you'll see the picture back in 2000 and must have been 8. It was an election year. I know that. So it was 3 elections ago. And here I was, bestseller on the cover. Here's what I remembered. Chance was playing football. Callie was dancing. Callie was cheering. Brooklyn was dancing. I was on an airplane. All the fame, all the glory, got the book. I wasn't home. I was missing sporting events. I wasn't going to bed in the same room as my husband every night. He was running all the kids around. I was in another state, on another plane, in another bookstore, signing books, taking pictures, writing my autograph. It was horrible. I had never been so unhappy in my entire life. So sometimes what you think you want is not what you want. And I remember I called Dave. I was crying. I was in the Atlanta airport. I said, I don't want to be on this dumb, stupid book tour anymore. I still have the book. If any of you haven't read it, I still have the book. No Guts, No Story. It's the name of this program, name of this weekly call. Ever since then, it's always been called No Guts, No Story. That was my story, the memoir of my life. That story ended in 2001. It's time for a new book. But here, I always thought, when I'm an author, when I have a best-selling book, oh, then it's going to be amazing. And you guys, that was one of the hardest years of my life. And I remember telling them, I don't want to be on this book tour anymore. I don't want to sign books. I don't want to be in bookstores. I don't care if it's a #1 best-selling book. I want to go home, be at my kids' sporting events, be with my husband, cook supper, wake up, take him to school. I want to sleep in my own bed. I don't want to be all over the world and be famous. And it was then that I really realized everything that glitters is not gold. And you look at people, you put them up on a pedestal and you think, oh, that would be the life. No, you got to ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really want? Now, I want you all to achieve your goals and dreams. People always say money's not everything. And Les Brown said it best. He said, some people want to find out for themselves. Money gives you freedom. It gives you choices. It allows you to do things that you wouldn't be able to do without money, but it will not make you happy. It will not make you happy. Now, if I had to choose, I was going to be poor or I was going to be rich, obviously you would choose to not be poor. Just know, if you're unhappy when you're poor, you'll be unhappy when you're rich. You'll just have money and you'll be more unhappy, because unhappy only gets amplified with more money, right? If you're greedy when you're poor and you get more money, you'll just be more greedy. Money just makes you more of what you already were. If you're generous when you're poor, you'll be more generous. If you're healthy when you're poor, you'll be healthier when you're happy. When you're wealthy. So I was listening the other day. It was Grant Cardone. He said, listen to me. If I'm going to be stuck on an island and I'm going to be there for the rest of my life, I would rather be wealthy stuck on an island than I would be poor stuck on an island. But I would be happy either way, because I would find a way inside to be happy. Now, some people say, Barb, that's easy for you to say because you've never been poor. Oh, yes, I have. And let me tell you something. I was grateful before I ever had the money. I was generous before I ever had the money. I worked hard when I didn't have it, and I still work hard when I do have it. I just do the things that I love today, and I still work hard. I'm still the same person. It's just amplified. And I'll never forget where I came from. Here's the thing that came with the success and the money. Jim Rohn says it. It's not the millions of dollars that you make. It's the person that you become on the way, because nobody is going to get there without a ton of adversity, a ton of challenge, a ton of pain, a ton of purpose that comes from the pain, a ton of drive, a ton of ambition. If you get there and you didn't have all that, you won't be conditioned for it. It's like the person that wins the lottery. It'll be gone next year and they'll owe the IRS. You look at people who just fall into fame and they get all the money. They always end up in trouble financially, losing it all, bankrupt, owing the IRS. The person that you become is the most important thing here. And when you're worrying, you're becoming more of the person that you don't want to be. When you are co-creating and you're growing and you're working, you're reading the Thinking Cure. You define your goals and dreams. You get a burning desire for it. You wake up grateful. You go to bed grateful. You give, you love, you're kind. You practice all of those high vibrational things. Guess what happens? You attract abundance. You open up the doors to receive. Because when you're not those things, you talk bad about people, you want to get even with people, you're feeling angry, you're feeling greed, you're feeling resentment, you're feeling division, you're feeling hate. All of those low vibrations do not attract anything. In fact, even if you had it all, let's say in my profession that I have someone in my organization and we're in sales, right? So, I mean, you're either an owner or you're a consumer. So if you consume, you spend all your money on things and you don't make money from that. And if you're an owner, you own your own home-based business, you own your own brand, you own your own Etsy store. Like, you want to be an owner. So rule number 1 for 2025, get a distributorship or an affiliate membership to sell something. So you're not just a consumer, you're an owner. So in my business, we help people become an affiliate. They can even become an affiliate for free if they buy the product pack. So it doesn't cost them anything to get started. And then we say to them, you're going to love the product and you're going to share it. Now, if you share the product, we're going to pay you every single time someone buys the product, 20%. So if someone buys the products and a $20 bill comes into your e-wallet, that's kind of a no-brainer. If you do that 5 times, it's $100 in your e-wallet. So if someone just did 5 times a week and they had an extra 100 a week, that would be 400 for the month, right? Now I want you to imagine this. I have someone that has 3 or 4 people and they're buying, and that person tells someone that tells 100 people. Now this person that's not reading the book, they're not listening to training, they're not growing. They have someone under them that just got 100 people and they only had 4. But all of a sudden there's 104 and 4 of them are Sally's and 100 are over here under Ella. Now, if Sally doesn't have gratitude, she's not grateful for the gift and the abundance. If Sally isn't growing, if she's not feeding her mind, if she's not growing and her income grows, guess what happens to Sally? She sabotages the income because she's not growing. She's resentful that Ella got more than her. She's not grateful. She's not happy. She's not sowing high vibrational seeds. So what happens? It sabotages it all. And Ella doesn't even know what happened, but 50 of the 100 quit because Sally poisoned the well. True story. That's called having the enemy at the table, right? People feel energy. Energies are vibrational. In our company, culture is so very important. In fact, we tell everybody there's no mean people here. There's no judgmental people here. We're all positive. We're all rising. We're all vibing. We're all joy, love, just enlightenment, in alignment, giving, loving, valuing, serving, happy. You know, it's a different vibe over here. But if you hang in an office where everybody's low vibrational, they're always gossiping, they're always shit talking, right? They're just stirring the pot. You know, did you hear about so-and-so? Yeah, I think that guy got arrested. I saw it the other day on Hayes Post. Well, you know, blah, 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 blah. I run from those people. Literally, you guys listen to me. Run. Because that's what happens when you let someone in just a little bit And pretty soon it takes over the whole entire room. Now, if you can't just run, call him on it. Be the bigger person. Do you know that to be true? Let me ask you a question. Is me and you discussing that going to help us at all get from where we're at to where we want to be? Is me and you having this conversation about your dumb, stupid brother-in-law going to help us get from where we're at to where we want to be? Let's just don't talk about him anymore, okay? What if we prayed about him as much as we talked about him? And what if we quit worrying about him? What if we quit worrying about his habits? He's cheating. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's stepping out on his wife. What if we just quit talking about him? Now, by the way, guys, I don't have a brother-in-law doing any of this. I'm just hypothetically saying, what if you said, why don't we invite him to church on Sunday? Why don't we get him this book? Rescued, Ransomed, Restored. What if we gave him the thinking cure? What do you say we send him a gift? What do you say we just check in on him? Say, how are you doing? Have you asked him how he's doing? Here's the difference, guys. There's people who are building an empire. There's people who are tearing it down. Whether it's your church, whether it's your company, whether it's your family, whether it's your own mental game, you got to quit letting the enemy have a seat at the table, because he will literally take over the table, the kitchen, the living room, the master, the guest, the den, the dog room, the attic. He'll take over the whole house. And here's how it happens. Oh, a little bit of lust ain't bad. Oh, a little bit of watching that horrible movie isn't bad. Oh, a little bit of hate talk radio isn't bad. No, it is, because it gets in here. And a little bit gets in and it poisons the well, because pretty soon you don't even know why you're in a bad mood. You don't even know why you're irritated. You don't even know why you snapped at your kids. You don't know why you went to bed not talking to your wife or your husband. You just know you felt off. You just felt off. And you guys, this 100% destroys your health, your sleep, creates acid in your stomach. You want to be alkaline, not acid. I take drops for this every single day. You want to be building up, not tearing down, so that you can get more in your bank account, not have more go out. So you can get better health, not worse health. So you can get good sleep, not a restless night's sleep. So you can get more friends, not people not wanting to be around you. So you can grow your network, not sabotage it like Sally did, because she was jealous of Ella. I see this so often, guys, and I want people to be successful. I want them to be successful, but I can't make them successful. Give a man a fish, feed him for one day. Teach a man how to fish, feed him for the rest of his life. Here's the hard part for me, because I'm an empath. I have to watch people fail. I have to watch people self-sabotage. I spend my days watching people have blessings. They're this close to freedom, and then they sabotage it all because they got their panties in a bunch, their ego versus their bank account. They didn't get enough recognition. Ella got more than Sally did. She's just lucky that way. That's the enemy in your head. You let him have a seat at the table. So you got to change your thinking to change your life. You got to change the narrative of what 2025 is going to look like. You got to be happy for the people that get there before you. Clap for them. In fact, go right now, find someone on Facebook that had an achievement this month bigger than you. And I want you to go right on their wall. I'm so proud of you, girl. You're crushing it. If you see something that they got, a promotion or whatever, way to go. Now, you don't have to do it if it's your competition. Obviously, you want to be shouting out your brand. You want to be shouting out your people. You want to be building up your people. You don't want to be building up someone who's trying to tear you down. So edification is power. Edification. Edifying the wrong person on your Facebook wall, edifying the wrong person. You're in a picture with them. You share their post, whatever. Likes attract likes. So all of a sudden, your audience, your branding is you're like that person. That's why I always try to teach everyone around me, let's be the better person. Let's be kinder. Let's be more generous. Let's be more loving. Let's play the understanding game. Let's give, not be a taker. Let's sow seeds that are going to grow to be exactly the harvest we want, because the foundation is everything, you guys. And what you're going to build in 2025, the most important thing is who you're in business with, who you're hanging around, and what they're doing to you. So you want to be very mindful of your environment, especially this week, what you let in your head, what you talk about, what you think about, what you worry about. I'm telling you right now, no matter what happens in the next 10 days, you're going to have the best year you ever had, because your happiness, your success, your finances, and your health, and your sleep, and your relationships, and the time that you spend with the people that you love has nothing to do with anything on the outside. It has everything to do with you right here. So get in alignment so you don't have to try and get the red truck back on the road, spending all your energy, overexerting yourself. Get in alignment with the things you love. Just like I didn't need to be on a book tour. Sometimes I had to say, I'm getting off this bus. Like, y'all can be on the crazy train. You chose this. I thought this is what I wanted. It's not. I'm going to get off the train, right? Even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. Sometimes you got to slow down to speed up. Stop, get your calendar out. What do I want to accomplish in the next 60 days, November and December? Where do I want to be on January 1? How could I create an extra 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, even 10,000 a month? A lot of ways. You know what's holding you back? A decision. A decision. If you put me in the middle of the country with no car, no money, no gas, all I had was a phone, I would climb right back to the top, and I would do it like that. Because here's something that nobody can take from you. The reputation that you have, and if you don't have one, start building one. The resources with people that love you, trust you, would love to be in business with you. There's opportunity everywhere you look. It's just waiting on you to take massive and immediate action. And you got to stop doing the non-income producing activities, scrolling, talking, gossiping, watching. What could you do just an hour a day, the next 60 days, that could help you set yourself up for financial freedom? I'll tell you right now, it's really, really simple. It wouldn't even take an hour a day. It would take probably 5 to 10 minutes a day. And I guarantee you, you could 10x your income by the end of 2025. But it's got to be consistent. It's simple disciplines repeated every day, or the lack of discipline repeated every day. So every single day, this is what I do. I wake up, I feed my mind before I even feed my body. I've been in all these books, a podcast, a Tony Robbins, a prayer. Heck, I was up talking to my bird. There was nobody awake at 4 a.m. But here's what I did. I programmed myself on this springboard for the best day ever, because the best day ever leads to the best week, leads to the best month, leads to the best year, regardless of what everyone around me does. That's the big kicker. Quit waiting for validation from other people. Quit waiting for conditions to be right, for people around you to change or do all the things you want them to do. You be the one. And when you take massive and immediate action, guys, all you got to do is wake up every day and read. Read it, write it, and say it. It's think and grow rich. It's not work your butt off and grow rich. It's literally think and grow rich, because what you think in your subconscious mind, your conscious mind doesn't know the difference in what's real and what's imagined. And if you've ever heard of the butterfly effect, if you've ever heard of like hitting the C chord on a piano in a high school and watching a C chord 3 blocks down the high school vibrate, that is not on trial. That happens. When you think of someone, they call you. When you're wondering about someone, you pass them on the road. When you think, I want a new red Cadillac, you see 5 new red Cadillacs that day. They've always been there. You just become more in alignment with exactly what you want. So do this exercise for me, and we'll follow up next Saturday. I want you to do this exercise for me. Take out a sheet of paper, write down 50 things you want to accomplish in this life before you die. If money was no object, if you knew you couldn't fail, 50 things. I want you to have 50 things before next Saturday. And next Saturday, we're going to take those 50 things that you would love to have if money was no object. Your wildest, craziest dreams. Maybe it is write a book, build a swimming pool, buy a house for your mom, take your kids on a Disney vacation, everything. I want it all on paper, 50 things. And I want you to stop worrying about how they're going to happen. Just know how it's going to happen is none of your business. It is going to happen the minute that you decide. Pain of discipline or pain of regret. It starts with taking a piece of paper, getting a pen, writing it all down. Like, people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. And in life, things have a tendency not to happen because we're so busy worrying, we're not living. And what we worry about, we bring about, because every thought's a prayer. Every prayer is answered. Say it out loud. It just amplifies it. 2 or more are gathered saying it out loud. Now you're really going to 10x it. Be careful, guys. Certain things I don't talk about, certain things I don't think about, because those certain things I don't want. And that is the secret to you having your best year ever in 2025. Let's start today, co-creating it, write it on paper. I'm going to help you bring it about. All you got to do is do step number 1, which is defining your dream, getting a burning desire for its achievement. Stop worrying about how it's going to happen. That's none of your business. Just know there's a formula out there. There is a formula that will make it happen, but it starts with you. So let's quit worrying. Let's have an amazing week. Let's know that outside circumstances have nothing to do with the inside job that you're doing, and that together the next 60 days, November and December, are going to be a foundation for you to have and be and do anything that you dream of in 2025. And I'm the girl to help you do that. I got the results to prove it. I could show you every book for the last 30 years, even poster boards that are literally rotten. It works. It's a formula, and it works 100% of the time for people that do it. Here's the big kicker. Most people won't do it. So get your sheet of paper out, do it. I'll see you next week on No Guts, No Story. Have a great day, everybody. If you got something from this broadcast, please put it in the comments. What was your one takeaway? And do me a favor, hit the share button, and I will give away one of my 90-day planners that has all the outline for you to do everything I just talked about. I forgot to say that. I actually have a book published that it's like a planner that lines it all out for you. And I'll give one away. All you got to do is hit the share button and drop in the comments what your takeaway was. Have a great